Executive Director of Pactv and the facilitator for this COVID-19 update for the town of Kingston. Today I'm joined at the table with Paula Rossi-Clapp, who's the Director of Elder Affairs, Elaine Fiore, who's the Vice Chair of the Kingston Board of Selectmen, and State Representative Kathy LaNatra, who is on her way. Remotely joining us today via Zoom will be Josh Warren, the Chair of the Kingston Board of Selectmen. The purpose of today's forum is to give up-to-date information and resources to the residents, organizations, and businesses that live and work in Kingston. Josh, why don't you open it up and tell us about the emergency management team that's going behind the scenes in Kingston.
Josh's audio.
Hold on one sec, Josh. We gotta up your audio. Technical.
Sure. How about now?
Josh?
How's that?
Good, great, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, emergency management team.
So Kingston's emergency management team has been meeting around the clock to respond and contain COVID-19. It's rapidly changing. We're doing everything that we can to make sure that we can continue to support the residents, the employees, and the businesses in Kingston through the continuity of basic services and operations. The team consists of Kingston's Fire Chief, Mark Douglas, Deputy Fire Chief, Adam Hatch, Chief of Police, Mo Splain, Director of Elder Affairs, Paula Rossi-Clapp, who's with us today, our Health Agent, Arthur Boyle, Town Administrator, Tom Coulter, the Assistant to the TA and Board of Selectmen, Gloria Mitchell, Vice Chair, Elaine Fiore, is with us today, and myself. We certainly acknowledge that COVID-19 will significantly impact all residents in town, all businesses in town, but we're asking folks to really take a thoughtful and measured approach in keeping themselves, their families, and their neighbors safe by heeding the advice that we're receiving and that they're receiving from the Mass Department of Public Health, the Center for Infectious Disease Control and Prevention. We've linked both of those websites. They're updating them by the minute, by the hour. They're both linked at www.kingstonmass.org. But really, the team's priority has been how do we continue to provide the most basic services, really with special attention being given to our most vulnerable population, given the threats posed by COVID-19, and that is our seniors. So I'm really pleased that Paula Rossi-Clapp was able to step away from all the important work she's been doing to talk to us about what services are available. I think that's going to be a real key component of today's discussion because there are tremendous services that are being offered by the Council on Aging, and we just want to make sure that seniors know about them and that nobody's at home feeling like they're alone in this. We're certainly all in this together.
Great, thank you. And Paula, why don't we go right to you? And you can tell us a few things. Now, I know the senior center is closed for people to come in, but that your staff is there and you're still doing a number of services. So can you talk about what services are still going on in the town of Kingston?
So we're still offering transportation for medical runs, groceries, prescription medication pickup, and every single day, Monday through Friday. We are offering phone service to anyone that has questions. We encourage them to call in. We can still help with certain application processes online. Our outreach coordinator, Darlene Regan, is going to be very busy helping people via the phone. Mm-hmm. Transportation coordinator, Dottie Neal, is busy coordinating all those runs, and we have 2 van drivers that will take people to and from. The only thing we have to limit right now is we only take 2 people at a time, and the van drivers have to desanitize every single trip.
Sure.
We are still doing Meals on Wheels. We have our volunteers that are still providing a service to deliver meals to up to 50 people right now, and I encourage anyone that thinks that may need that service now or in the future to call Old Colony Elder Services and ask for intake and referral, and they'll help them with the Meals on Wheels program. And right now people are really calling in just to find out if we are open. AARP services have canceled, so we are not taking any tax appointments. AARP will contact people that have appointments when their services begin again. We do not have any more information on that.
Okay. And you're still doing your wellness calls?
Wellness calls every single day. I don't know if we're ready to talk about the letter, but we're there for all resources that they may need, because they can still get a lot of information by the phone. So,
Okay. And you are updating on Facebook, the COA webpage, WATD, and Pactv.
Correct.
So there's plenty of places where people can go for up-to-date information.
Correct.
And I noticed your homepage for Kingston, Town of Kingston, has everything right on the front page, which is wonderful.
That's
And
right.
links to whatever you need.
That's right.
So you mentioned a mass mailing that you're doing. Elaine, do you want to talk to us about what that mass mailing is?
Well, when this all came to a head, Paul and I got together and said, what's the best way to get to everybody, all the seniors? So we asked the clerk's office to run a list of everyone age 60 and over. We came up with a letter that's brief but provides information as far as telephone numbers, who to contact for what, and we're in the process of mailing it to 3,300 people age 60 and over. Obviously, it would be impossible to call everybody.
Right.
This actually gives them a document that they have in their hand that they can keep and call the necessary
And refer
people they
to.
need to.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Kathleen, while we have you here, and I know you are all over the place having to go.
Sorry, I was running a little late. I was actually in the city today at the State House.
No problem. Can you give us an update from the state perspective?
I could give you, if we're going to talk about seniors, I will do that first. My office has also reached out to all the senior communities in the 6 towns that I represent. We've been in touch with all the COA directors, which has been wonderful. We've been in touch with all the town administrators, the police chiefs, the fire chiefs, and the Board of Health agents. Okay. We have constant contact with them, the school committee as well, in all of the district. For our seniors, in our letter, it's very important that they also know there's a number that they can call when they have questions if someone isn't available, and that is 211. And that is a number that is available 24/7. And as you know, this is very fluid. It's a very unprecedented time. My staff and I have been working with 6 different communities, so we've been very busy. And I do have another conference call about this again today at 2:30. So there's lots of things that I can share that I brought from my last conference call with Secretary Scudders. And let's see where we can begin. Let's start with our first responders. So our first responders are really in need of PPE, so personal protective equipment. Yep. And I have been working with AMEMA on that, also another agency that I've been working with, and I've been speaking with both chiefs, fire and police from the community. And we're hoping Boston has received some. We're hoping that soon we will receive that. I have also been working on, I know there's a lot of realtors out there, I am also one, and some of the towns, the fire chiefs have decided not to continue with smoke inspections, which really does cause a hardship for not only the purchaser, the buyer, the real estate agents, the attorneys, it goes down the line. Working with them to find an optional way, instead of having the fire department go out, and maybe possibly having the agent themselves videotape that they're working, the smoke detectors are working, and that. So hopefully that will work out. So childcare, this has been another thing that I've been working on. This actually came up today. So the governor's directive is that childcare centers can remain open, and they will be prioritized for people that are on the front line.
Right.
Now, my interpretation of that is first responders, medical fields, but it's also the people that are keeping the economy afloat. So it is people that work in pharmacies. There are people that work in supermarkets, people that actually have to work right now. That is my interpretation. Some of the towns did not interpret it that way or did not get that information. Right. So working to find, we come to that conclusion. Right. Because there are people out there that really need that child care right now. I know a lot have dropped out of it, but the kids that are there need to be there. Absolutely. Their parents need that. Yep. So there's lots of things. GATRA says, you said that already, Paula. All services are operating on schedule. Check their website. The rest areas are closed on the highway. RMV has opened 7 places. One is in Boston that I drove by today, and I will tell you the line was around the block and then some for the RMB.
But we didn't want. Is this because people think they have to
I'm
do
not
their new
sure.
license?
I'm not sure. I just saw this morning. But anything that you can do online,
Yeah.
please do online.
Okay.
Please do online. They've extended license. If your license is going to expire,
Yep.
they've extended that.
Yep.
Going back to taxes, they've extended that deadline 90 days. So things are being extended. So
Is that each particular town? Is that statewide? How is that?
for taxes,
Yeah.
it's statewide.
Okay.
I actually believe it is countrywide, but I will double check on that for you.
You're saying if you owe federal taxes or
if
state
you
taxes?
need to file.
Oh, file.
If you need
Filing
to file
taxes. Okay.
taxes, that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. So I would assume that would
Yeah.
be, these are just things that I heard yesterday. Recreation and skating rinks, visitor centers, and public places are closed, except for parks. The DCR parks are still open as much as I know. I know that Grays Beach is closed. Another thing we're working on, I'll tell you what we're working on too, is legislation has been filed that no one can be evicted during this time,
Yeah.
that their utilities cannot be shut off. I know that towns have also put in place things I know that Kingston has for water or things like that. So you're protected that way. My job is what I'm doing now is connecting with all 6 communities
Right.
that I have. I receive dozens and dozens of calls and emails. I honestly want to say an hour.
I'm sure.
They're very service workers,
Yes.
our seniors,
Sure.
wives and husbands
Yeah.
of first responders. So it's a very fluid process.
Right.
I learn, as you know, I get an update every hour. And as much as I can, I just pump out that information to the public. But please, I want everyone to know that they can reach out to me at kathleen.lanatra@mahouse.gov or christopher.jean@mahouse.gov. And I believe you have my office number. Maybe you can
Yep.
put up.
We're going to put all those up
Great.
too, and we'll put them up at the end. We'll put all the contact information at the end of the show up also.
Wonderful. We're also the state rep Facebook page and the local pages in the 6 towns that I represent. And always feel free to contact me at any time with any concern. And if I can't answer your question, I will point you in the right direction. But I
Okay.
still just want to emphasize that 211 number.
Okay.
That's very important. Any question that you have, 24/7,
And
they will
about any
answer it
subject.
about any
Any subject.
subject.
Okay.
That
So
is
this
the
isn't
number
just
to
health,
call.
This isn't telehealth.
No, but another thing I wanted to mention about telehealth that you brought that up, because originally I heard it was only pertaining to the coronavirus,
Right.
the COVID-19, and that is not true. So telehealth is to be covered by your insurance for any reason.
Anything.
It's a broad
Right,
spectrum
right.
for any reason.
So this is like going to the doctor's office.
Correct.
But you're going on the phone. And you don't
Correct.
have to worry about a copay or
Right.
paying for that visit. That will be covered.
that will
That's
be
what
covered.
telehealth is. Okay.
Are you going to talk about Silver Lake Lunch? I didn't want to bring that up, but I don't want to step on your toes.
Josh, at any time, if you have questions, Josh, please just come right in.
Sure. I can just piggyback on some of what Kathy was saying. Massachusetts 211 is an incredible resource. They provide real-time answering services. All you have to do from a landline, from a cell phone, is dial 211, and they'll put you in touch with somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They also have an online option available. So if you'd rather do a live chat on your computer, you can visit mass211.org. That information is on the Kingston website, along with the other links to CDC and DPH. So that contact information is readily available to any resident who goes to kingstonmass.org.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Josh. And I do want to mention mass.gov. You can get up-to-date information on there. They do update the presumptive and confirmed cases every day at 4. I post those every day after I have read them, if you want to keep up on that. But again, mass.gov, and then you'll see the coronavirus right at the top, the
Yep.
update.
Yep.
So that's a great way to update there. Again, still fluid with people that, 1099, people that get 1099s.
Right.
They can't collect unemployment. Another thing I want to mention, it's all coming as I'm speaking.
Yep,
I
go ahead.
apologize
No,
that
that's
I'm
great.
speaking so quickly. The governor has also filed legislation that there will not be that 1 week waiting period to file for unemployment.
Yes, I
So
heard that. There's no waiting period at
There's
all.
no waiting
Yep.
period. And that's very important for a lot of people.
Yep.
I did hear on the way in that there is some retail stores that are still open.
Yep.
And the sales staff are really concerned
Sure.
that they still have to be there.
Sure.
But sometimes they need that paycheck to feed their family.
That's
so
right.
it's either, do I go in and feed my family and put myself at risk?
Yeah.
Or do I stay home and worry about feeding my family?
Right.
So these are things that I urge the retail, and these are big box stores. I'm not talking about our poor small businesses that
Your
are
mom and-
really
not mom and
suffering
pop,
from
right,
this.
right.
These are not your mom and pop
Yeah.
stores. So I implore these stores to shut down. Again, and I'm good. Our small businesses are really suffering. Our
Yep.
small restaurants,
Yep.
and they are doing to go and take out. Anything you can do to help them out,
Right.
we would all appreciate it.
Absolutely.
The small businesses are really the core of our society here in our district, so we want to support them.
No, I have a question that a
Sure.
lot of people have asked. We'll see. Governor Baker will come on once, it seems, daily at this point and give
Sometimes
some
twice
updates.
a day,
Yeah,
yes.
sometimes twice a day. What is the hierarchy of command? In other words, how much do the towns individually have to abide by and set their own standards versus what is done at a state level?
Very good question, because that was my question today. I had a difference of opinion of the governor's directive and what a town was doing. So I will know that question, the answer to that question soon, because I have some calls in
Okay.
to the governor's staff. We're the governor. I'm the governor. We have the governor is our
Yep.
body. And I just want to touch on the elections. So
Okay.
everyone's really concerned. I know so much. Well,
No, that's a huge.
that's
yep,
a huge thing.
Yep.
So the last I heard,
Yep.
which was probably a half hour when I left Boston to hear that the March 31st special election for this
Senate
district,
seat,
for
yep.
Senate DiMacedo's seat, is still on. This is a big deal because, as we know, most seniors that's the largest voting population we have are seniors.
Yeah.
And we're really concerned about that. That legislation needs to be filed, from my understanding, has to be filed from the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State does not support postponing the election. I have reached out to my town clerks on this and given them this information and have advised them if they want to do this, they need to email Bill Galvin, and Plymouth and Falmouth, I believe, are going to court on
That's what
Thursday.
Yeah,
right.
I heard that
So
last
I just
night.
wanted to that the towns themselves have the option for their town elections to move that forward, as well as their town meetings.
Exactly, but this is a special election for
Exactly, and it's challenging because we have not had a senator.
the state. Right, I know. But a lot of the election, the polling places are in schools, which are closed.
Exactly,
There's
exactly.
a number of components that make that not really feasible.
And again, we've never been through this before,
Right,
and I'm just learning things as I go, learning more information. But as soon as I get that information, I will bring that out to the public as soon as possible. And again, working with my 6 communities, sharing ideas through all of them, working with the town administrators, our COAs. I've been in contact with Paula.
Sure.
And Josh. I've been in contact with Josh, Board of Health, and the town administrators, town managers.
Okay.
So.
Julie,
Does anyone
if I may interject as well.
Sure.
I have been very impressed with the direction that municipalities have been getting from the Baker-Polito administration. We found ourselves as the emergency management team on a few occasions making decisions that we believed were in the best interest of the community. And if those decisions had not yet been handed to us or mandated by the state, typically within a half hour to an hour of us making those decisions, similar direction has come down from the Baker administration. So we've either been a few steps ahead of, or they've been a few steps ahead of us, just in terms of looking at closing public spaces, looking at being, I think, as cautious as possible and trying to mitigate opportunities for this to spread. But we've received, at least at the municipal level, incredible guidance over the last week or so from the Baker-Polito administration, and we'll continue to follow their guidance and advice. And I, for one, as an official in Kingston, am grateful for the communication that we've received from them and the direction that we're receiving from them moving forward.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions, ladies, for Kathy LaNatra?
I just have one, and I don't know if you've got the
Okay.
answer for it yet. The president said groups can't congregate 10 or more.
Okay, so that, I've been asked this
Yeah.
too. That was a suggestion, it wasn't a mandate for
Okay.
10 or more. The governor has still required 25.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And
And I've
it-
had a lot of questions about that from hairdressers and nail salons and that type of thing too.
Right.
So we, in our conference call with Secretary Scudders yesterday, I brought that up. How come someone can do someone's hair and that's not 6 feet apart? And
Right.
these are service workers are calling me with these questions. So they're in robust discussion about that now, and I expect that will change very shortly.
Yeah, okay. Anything,
Uh,
Paula?
but-
Paula, any
sorry.
questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Josh, go ahead, go ahead.
I didn't have a question. I just wanted to circle back to something that Kathy had mentioned, and that is the grab and go lunch program that the Silver Lake Regional School District has organized. So yesterday they announced that grab and go lunches would be available starting Friday, March 20th, for any students, families that qualify for free or reduced lunches. Chief Douglas and Chief Spillane went out and worked with Jill Prue, the superintendent, members of the school committee, and food service workers to make sure that there was a disaster distribution plan in place that would take into account the social distancing guidelines that were all being prescribed given COVID-19. And with the guidance of both of our chiefs, the Silver Lake Regional School District is ready to start that program this Friday. So any families that have filled out surveys that were provided by the school, again, these are families that qualify for free and reduced lunches, will have access to those. There's a whole email that went out to those families. If anybody did not receive the email, if anybody has not yet gotten in touch with Silver Lake Regional School District, they should call Megan Aaronholtz at 781-582-3556 to make sure that you're on the list. And they'll provide all the guidance necessary in terms of pickup locations, whether or not you could have a meal dropped off if you can't make it to a pickup location. But the Silver Lake Regional School District will kick that off on Friday. Their concern obviously being if there are students who typically would rely on receiving a meal during the school hours, we're looking at an extended period where that service would not be provided, would not be available. So we've been working closely with them here in Kingston. I know all the Silver Lake Regional School District towns have, and I look forward to seeing that program start on Friday.
Great, thank you. Last before you have to go, because I know you have another call. Are you surprised by any silver linings you have seen?
You know, I was speaking to my husband about this. This really brings out everybody's true colors. When you're in a crisis, it brings out everybody's true colors. And I've been surprised on both sides, honestly, have been surprised on both sides. But the silver lining is, and this is one of them, we are so busy as a community or as a culture that myself included, I have two children at home, is 7th and an 8th grader, and they're in sports, and we're always ships that pass in the night.
Yeah.
We have sat down to dinner every night as a family.
Yeah.
Even my oldest son, who lives on his own with his girlfriend, have been over.
Yep.
Right? I think they want to be when we get if we get quarantined, but I'm not looking that they're going to be with us.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll
Right.
take care of him.
Yeah.
But I do see that, and I do see people reaching out to our older generation, our older people. I do see that.
Yeah.
And I've seen lots of posts on emails, on Facebook. If you need something, I'm
I know.
here. And even the teachers that aren't in school are reaching out if you need.
Wonderful.
Because, I mean, 8th grade and 7th grade math.
Yeah.
You know, if you need help,
Yeah, right.
I'm here,
Yeah.
and I use it.
Yeah,
I use it.
that's wonderful.
Even the college kids, you know, that I've employed over the years to help with my kids have reached out. What
Yep.
do you need? What can I do for you? What can
Right.
I do for your district?
Yeah.
Because they've helped with the campaign. So that really is the silver lining. It brings people together.
Yep.
And I'm always grateful for that. I'm always
Absolutely.
grateful for that. But again, where we need a 6-foot distance, and we're
Yep.
wherever
We're
we're
not
calling,
quite
right?
here.
Not here, does not mean that we can't communicate with others.
That's
We're
right.
so lucky that we have ways that we communicate. Call the grandparents by FaceTime. That's really important.
Right.
That's really important because we don't want them to feel isolated. Talk to your friends. My daughter told me how you can have like 5 people on FaceTime at the same time.
Yeah.
And then there's some app, House Party, which I'm
There'll be
actually
a lot of new apps.
doing with my girlfriends
Yeah.
tonight. We're all going to work out together if I ever come home
Yeah,
in one of
yeah.
these things. But I can't implore you enough to reach out to the older community. They're scared.
Yeah.
They're scared. They've never been through anything like this.
Right.
You know, we're not, the numbers aren't as bad as some other places. And to be quite honest, 2 weeks ago, I thought we were blowing this out of proportion. But we're not.
Right.
We're not. And as difficult as this is, not to say to your son, no, you cannot go over your friend's house, or your daughter, no, you can't have a sleepover, or this, it's important.
Right.
It's very, very important. So enjoy your families. Reach out to the ones that can't be with you.
Yep.
and we will all get through this. I promise you, together we will all get through this. And again, reach out to my office for anything you need. And
Great.
thank you.
Thank
and
you
thank
so
you
much.
to the town of Kingston for being on top of things as
Okay.
well in all my towns.
Thank you, and now you can go to where
Okay.
you have to go to the
All
next
right.
thing. And we'll
Thank you.
continue on with our panel here. Social distancing and self-quarantine. Can you just speak to what people should know what that means?
Okay.
Can I tackle that one?
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
So I know we've all heard a lot about social distancing, and in effect, social distancing is just a strategy to slow down or stop the spread of an infectious disease like COVID-19, and it's really increasing the space between people. So folks that tuned into last night's Board of Selectmen meeting might note that we were practicing social distancing there. Elaine was there in my absence chairing the meeting. Sitting quite a distance away from her to her right and left were Tom and Gloria, who are also there to help facilitate. But in an effort to really create this physical buffer, all of the selectmen called in remotely. So we're trying as best we can to continue moving forward as a town government, but also practice social distancing so that folks can see that we're doing it, we're encouraging it. Examples of social distancing, I know a lot of folks are being forced into this, but it's working from home. It's staying out of the office. It's closing schools, which we've also seen done, and some have been able to move to online classes. Colleges are doing that. That's a great example of social distancing, canceling, postponing events, concerts, meetings. And as Kathy just said, another way to practice social distancing is to communicate with one another, with family, with friends, with neighbors virtually. So pick up the phone, give them a call. Really, the best practice right now is to limit the social interactions, the direct contact. And we keep hearing the 6-foot rule, and it seems like that's the prescribed distance that we're hearing from CPC and DPH. So it's a real concern. COVID-19's transferred when folks cough, when folks sneeze, when folks touch surfaces, and then somebody else does. So it's the practice of just really creating that physical barrier so that we can slow down and hopefully stop the spread of COVID-19.
Great, thank you. Elaine, you have, I believe, the Town of Kingston's website up?
Correct.
Okay, so if we could click on that so folks could see, maybe you can just explain how people can navigate through this in case they're not familiar with it?
Sure.
Where to get information?
www.kingstonmass.org, and what it comes down to is when you get on the first page, you'll see is closure information. And a link to each of the different areas that have closures: COA, library, recreation, schools, the townhouse. We also have a couple of links on the right-hand side. We have, down at the bottom under quick links, we have COVID-19 updates, and this is the key spot to find. This is what's updated on a routine basis every day. It's got the links for any state information you may need. We also have in the middle of it contact information for the Elder Services, General Information, Board of Health. These phone numbers are available based on any questions you may have. We try to give at least one contact person for everybody. And then all the communications we've had to date with this site, with different letters that are updated on a daily basis with whatever information has transpired that day.
Great, so this is always current and up to date?
Yes.
And Elaine, if you can you guys keep me on audio but leave the visual that Elaine's producing right now?
Sure, could you just
Perfect.
keep the website
so
up?
you'll see right in the middle, right below where it says number of confirmed cases, there's a link that says this situation, or the situation surrounding COVID-19 is extremely fluid. For the latest up-to-date information regarding the town of Kingston's response to the virus, please click here. Every single day, the Kingston Emergency Management Team is meeting. We're discussing any changes. We're discussing any need to increase services, to increase communications on the website. That click here link will bring you every evening to a letter that just digests what the town has done that day with the emergency management team. So you'll see real updates every day regarding closures, regarding any decisions that were made that day by the management team, and really any big changes. So I know yesterday we talked extensively about the grab and go lunch program. In previous days, we've talked about the great work that Paula and her team are doing at the COA. But really encouraging residents to go to that website, to check out that letter every afternoon, every evening. The clerk's office has been great. If we get the numbers from Department of Public Health after hours, after they've already gone home, and we have updates that need to be made to that website, Paul Gallagher, Diane Poirier, and Jana Morrissey have just been doing yeoman's work to make sure that that page stays up to date. And to the extent that we can direct folks there, you know, we're certainly trying. I know the library has lent us use of their new LED signs, so any passing traffic will see the message. You know, go to kingstonmass.org for updates. The LED sign at the transfer station is also directing folks there. So really what we're trying to do is use the website as a communication tool. We also recognize that not everybody has access to computers or the internet, which is why, Julie, this is a great service that you're providing to residents today by allowing us to come on here. We've used Blackboard Connect to let folks know where to go for information. I'm sure we'll employ Blackboard Connect again before this is all over. As Paula said, we're doing phone calls, things like that. So we're using alternative forms of communication to make sure that we reach as many residents as possible. But the bulk of the updates, the bulk of the information is getting funneled onto that page that Elaine just shared. And we certainly encourage residents to go there daily for updates.
Okay, I have had questions from a number of people in all of the 4 towns that we cover about meetings, the continuation of meetings, whether it's regular board and committee meetings or whether it's town meetings, which I believe a lot of them have already been postponed. Is that also posted on your website as far as updates on meetings?
Yeah, we have a meeting calendar, but actually I left town hall to come here, and we're putting together how to conduct meetings.
Okay.
As Josh mentioned last night, we had our first trial.
Yep.
With, if it's a public hearing that has to happen for time sensitivity or whatever, the protocol is going to be a conference call line for members of the board or committee to call into with one representative at town hall, and then a separate line for the public to call into. The public phone number conference line will be on the agenda that's posted on the website, and if the public hearing has not already been posted, it will be in the public notice in the newspaper.
Okay.
And I can't thank Pactv enough for being at our session last night, and at some point that may not be possible, but whenever a meeting could be televised,
Sure.
that would be included as well. But at the minimum, there'll be a conference line for the public to call into.
And some towns too are considering maybe even having an email address. So sometimes it's hard to either hear people or they get disconnected or they have a bad cell phone connection. So sometimes having them being able to email in their questions in real time is another option.
Agreed.
And all these, it's fluid.
Yeah.
And we all know that. So things might change. And we will always try, every town is going to try to do the most efficient thing to get as many people information and flowing both ways as possible.
And it's like last night at the end of our meeting, it was the first time we'd ever done it. So I asked whoever was watching, please give us feedback.
Right.
What worked, what didn't work. Did we not
That's great.
talk loud enough, too loud? So yes, it is.
It's a
very
whole new
fluid.
world.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Now, Paul, you mentioned something really interesting when we talked before going on air about your seniors are remarkably calm. And could you speak to that?
I really think that part of it is the amazing support that we've been receiving as the senior center from the townhouse. From the communication is amazing. I do believe that they are very resilient. I think the Kingston seniors are very smart. I think they understand how to, hunker down, how to, we were talking about, they grew up in some of the crises eras.
Children of the Depression, a lot of them.
And they know how to budget. They know how to make things last, and they're patient. I think that's something our kids need to learn is the immediate gratification. Just slow the roll down, We're all here to help them. But I can't believe the support that we have gotten as the senior center, as I said, from all the departments, from the selectmen, from the town administrator. We know that they're there for us, and they're jumping in. My staff has been amazing. They're professional. They have a great sense of humor, and they are there for every call that comes in. And we're at the ready. My van drivers, they're so diligent at keeping their vans clean and getting people where they need to go. I think that it's a complete success at this point. I really do.
Yeah.
So-
We're one week in, a week or two in.
But I do
That's
want to
good.
mention the letters are going to be helpful. I do encourage the seniors to call the senior center, get registered in our system, because we do have the ability to remain in touch with them throughout the year with all types of issues pertaining to seniors. So call us, register.
And it's confidential and it's private.
Absolutely.
Right, and it's not shared with
absolutely.
anyone, it's just,
Absolutely, it is not.
Right.
Yes.
that's great. Josh, more
Yes.
things to discuss.
Sorry?
Do you have more things that we need to cover in this forum today?
I do want to just say, in addition to directing folks to the website for best practices and for information, I just want to share, one of the things that we've been hearing from residents is what can they do in their homes to prevent the spread of COVID-19. In addition to social distancing, which we talked about, regularly washing your hands with soap and water. I know anybody who's been watching the news has heard that. Coughing and sneezing into your elbow, that's another big one. But really, use the resources that are available. There's a lot of links that are being shared online that have, I guess, not the best information, not the most reliable information. What we've linked to on the website, again, Mass Department of Public Health, Center for Infectious Disease Control and Prevention. Those are very reliable links. Those are very reliable sources. They'll let you know what signs and symptoms are of COVID-19. They'll let you know what emergency signs and symptoms are of COVID-19. Please go to those resources. They're credible. And in the event of an emergency, remember it's 911 for any serious emergencies. Please don't hesitate. One other quick thing, I know, and I had Mark Douglas and Mo Splain on PacTV about a year and a half ago, and one of the things that we talked about was the disaster management binder that they've put together. There's a lot of great information in there that we've been able to fall back on. One of the things that they implemented in creating that binder was the knowledge coming out of Hurricane Katrina down in New Orleans, where a lot of residents opted to shelter in place because they were afraid of what was going to happen to their pets. One of the things that we've been talking about internally as a team, and we've made public through the afternoon communications, if we have any residents, if we have any seniors who are fearful of a long-term hospitalization, are afraid to seek medical help because they don't know what's going to happen to their pets, Joe Boudreau, our animal control officer, is available. There's limited space available at the kennel. And we'll do everything that we can to make those accommodations. We don't want something like that to prevent a resident from seeking medical treatment if that's what they need. And we'll do everything that we can to accommodate them. They just need to reach out to Paula, to Joe Boudreau, to any of those contacts on our website. Help is there. We're answering the phones. We're checking our voicemails. And we're going to do everything that we can to support them regardless of what the need is.
Okay, that's great, thank you. A couple other things that I want to talk about is school. And is the school information also on your website, or do people go to a separate website to hear about updates on the schools closings?
We actually have on our informational page, we have a link to their website.
Okay, so any updates daily are put from the school there?
Correct.
Okay,
They have managed their own sites, and we just have the link.
excellent. The other question.
We wanted the town website to sort of be a one-stop for all of that information.
That's a great idea.
So hyperlinked on the website, you can access Silver Lake Regional School District. You can access the Kingston Public Library, who again is closed but has a wealth of resources. They have an incredible online catalog and library that's available to residents. So we've linked right to them. We've linked to the rec department's website, and we've linked to the Council on Aging. We really want the town website to be the place that folks are going. And from there, they can access any number of town pages and any number of state and federal pages.
Excellent. Now, Kathleen had to go, and I don't even think she would have an answer on this yet, but there are a number of Kingston residents who are incredibly concerned about they've lost their job, or their business has stopped, or they've been asked to not come in, or they're a person that can't work from home. I know basically this would come probably from the federal down to the state and then to the local level. Is there any guidance that you can give your residents as to how they can keep updated information on that whole aspect?
Well, the collector has put on the site that she's not going to charge late fees.
Okay.
So internally, that's just starting to be discussed.
Okay.
Maybe deadlines will change, things like that.
Okay.
That's a whole nother conversation that the longer this goes on, that we'll have to have.
And we just simply don't know yet.
Right.
Right. It's not like a blizzard where we know after 4 or 5 days we're going to be able to plow it and clean it up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Josh, did you want to add to that at all?
I just want to mention again, Massachusetts 211 is not limited to COVID-19. If somebody has a question about where resources are available in any sort of hardship, 211 is a great resource. When you call, I believe there's a specific prompt for COVID-19 related questions. But if any resident has questions beyond that, if they have questions about assistance with food, with shelter, with heating, any of those things, again, from a landline or from a cell phone, you can dial Massachusetts 211, and there are operators standing by 24/7 to connect residents to resources for any challenge, for any problem that they may be encountering.
Okay. And Kathleen did mention that she thinks the people that are applying for unemployment will be able to have that process go much quicker than generally would happen. And also, I know in Plymouth, the Chamber of Commerce gathered the names of every single restaurant that was doing takeout and put it all together and published it in one big document, which is a really great thing. And I've seen things similar to that on All Things Kingston and some of your social media. Are you kind of counting on a lot of that social media to help with people helping each other?
Yeah, most definitely. And like Kathy was saying, it's times like this, everybody comes together and helps each other.
Yeah.
And for those who have access to, social media, great. It's very active.
Yep.
And a lot of people are stepping up, offering their services. For those who don't, then we reach out in other ways. But yes.
It's great.
Yeah.
Can young people, Paula, this question is to you, can young people or the kids, can they help the seniors in any way by picking up prescriptions or delivering or doing anything like that?
So right now I'm compiling the people that have come in, they've been emailing, they're ready and they're willing, and when it gets to that point, we may be able to reach out to them because, again, we don't know how far this is going to go. Right now, the staff is able to handle all requests.
Okay.
We're going to move forward
Yep,
with
we'll
that.
take it one step
Yeah.
at a time, but
Yeah.
that's always an option.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's it. And at the same time, with volunteers, you have to be careful of,
Yep. They have to be careful. Yep, you have to. Yeah, social distancing, 6
Right.
feet. Yeah, yeah. It's a whole new world. We're gonna come out of this different.
Yes.
In a lot of ways.
yes.
Josh, any final commentary before we wrap this up?
You asked Kathy, if there were any silver linings that she's seeing, and I kind of want to end with that, if I may. The effort, not just from the Kingston Emergency Management Team, but from everybody that works in the town of Kingston, has been absolutely overwhelming. The staff are all facing the same personal challenges that we are, the uncertainty with what's going to be coming next. They have concerns, I'm sure, about their own health, the health of their families, their friends. And they're coming in every day and they're doing incredible work. They're working with us to put systems in place that will ensure that residents, that their fellow employees and that businesses have what they need to weather this. And that's really been the silver lining for me. Every single person that's working for the town of Kingston has gone above and beyond. We have folks that are not in Paula's department, but are helping Paula's department stuff envelopes. We have folks who are coming in on Friday night to help us update the website, coming in Saturday to update the website. We have folks who are bringing work home with them so that they can keep up with the ongoing challenges that we're being presented with right now. And for me, the silver lining has really been the massive effort by everybody in the townhouse and everybody in the various departments throughout town who are willing to really go above and beyond to make sure that the town's able to respond to this as best we can.
Great, thank you. So we will do these forums for our towns at any time. We like to get the kind of department heads sometimes together where people can have everybody talking at once, which is nice, and having them live is wonderful so people can get the up-to-date information. Just a little side note, here at Pactv, we're staying open as long as we can, and all of our resources really are going to support our town's messaging and how we can help you to continue doing what you need, the business of the town and the business of communicating with the town. But also we're trying to collect, and we will be collecting the beautiful stories, the good news stories. Because one of the police lieutenants from Pembroke was on the other day on a forum, and he said, people tend to hoard things, or they might act unlike they usually act out of fear. And if all you're seeing is negative stuff coming from the news, it is so nice sometimes to just see a big, huge flourish of positive stuff, of the wonderful things people are doing. So at the same time that we're going to be helping the towns and the residents of all our towns get information from their municipalities, we at Pactv also are going to give the other side of the lighter side, the kind side, the wonderful side, the happy things that people don't have time to do right now, but we consider that incredibly just as important. So if you want to see this forum again, just log on pactv.org, and we will have it on demand, and we will also have it scheduled on our channels. So thank you very much again. This is Julie Thompson from Pactv, and we have been hosting a forum for COVID-19 with the members of the town of Kingston.